Hey everyone, this is Luke again, and welcome back to yet another Ninjago video onto the channel today. So, over the weekend, I think it was right after I left, this place to go back to, my parents for the weekend, the second half for Ninjago Crystalized, at least the trailer, was released, and, I just recently watched it, and man, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And yes, I will do a Ninjago trailer reaction and analysis video on the topic. But that mostly will come towards the end of the week. So basically, I'm just going to be discussing what I saw in the trailer and give my overall thoughts on it. So the first thing is a certain voice talking about bringing peace for the dark, bringing peace in the dark. At least that's how it sounded in my head. But obviously, this voice is the return of the Overlord. Pun, no pun intended. And I'm very happy that the Overlord is finally coming back for one more, one last go around. And it's pretty sick knowing, because we haven't seen him since rebooted, and we hadn't seen. It's like we hadn't seen Pythor since Day of the Departed, and 6 years later he's coming back. We hadn't seen Overlord since reboot, so 8 years later he comes back, and it's just so exciting. And but is he truly the head honcho? That's what I'm worried about. Is that if he, because that's kind of what we're all been theorizing, is that he's the head honcho, the Crystal King, and even the Vengestone Buyer. And I hope that they don't do like a stupid swerve, where it's actually someone else, and that it was just a big fake out. But I doubt they'll do that, considering the Ninjago writers don't really like to swerve people all that much. So that's my thoughts on the whole Overlord situation. Now we're getting into the next part, which is Lloyd and his Oni power. Obviously, in the sets, there was a minifig of Lloyd with an Oni mask. And this is going to go into Lloyd's Oni powers, since we haven't really seen, what the Dragon power or the Oni power. We kind of seen Oni power before, but we never really saw Dragon power in a sense. I mean, we kind of seen it, but we haven't really seen it. So it's basically Lloyd giving into his Oni side, which a lot of people have theorized that Lloyd would be turning evil, which I doubt is the case, considering Lloyd is like one of the last people to turn evil, because considering he has like the honor, he has honor and stuff like that. So I doubt he will turn against his, his brothers or his family, I should say. And honestly, I think it's just unlocking more and more powers for him. And speaking of Lloyd, I think there might be another sort of sadistic dynamic between Lloyd and Harumi, because it does seem like this Harumi is the real Harumi, um, which hopefully they explain why she somehow survived the building collapse on her. Because if they don't explain it, that would be an incredibly big disappointment for a lot of fans, because it would just seem like Crystalized brought her back for the sole sake of fan service, which could be this season's undoing. And I hope that isn't the case, because fan service can be one of the best things in the world, but it could also be one of the worst things in when writing a show, because you don't want too much of it, but you don't want to seem like it that the series doesn't care about its fans when it clearly does. So it's got to have that middle spot where it does care, but it doesn't care too much. You know what I mean? So, and speaking of Lloyd, one of my biggest concerns of this is that it's another Lloyd-centric story. As you all know, I have a very heavy Lloyd bias, meaning that I just don't care for Lloyd or any of his character development. I just don't care, and that's because it's boring. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically, a lot of how Lloyd was written is basically the same. It's like they tried to slightly alter the plot so that it would seem like it's a new storyline for him when it's really just the same old storyline, just slightly altered to fit the plot. And that's most notably with his issues with Garmadon. It's like, why is it always Garmadon? Why can't it be someone else? And I guess they listened to that and got in Harumi. But now I'm tired of the whole Harumi thing. Now I'm kind of wanting to go back to the Garmadon one again. It's kind of weird, you know? But maybe they're going to try and finally conclude these arcs that should have been concluded ages ago, if I'm being honest. Maybe they'll try and find a way to truthfully conclude these arcs once and for all. Now I just want to point something out. A lot of people were really concerned about Nia possibly dying again because of one line Jay said that says, "Nia, I just got you back," and then we see a edit of Nia in her water form again. But my good buddy Overlord X recently made a video talking about how he basically disproved this and that it was just a clever edit. Basically, if you can see towards right where Nia's foot is, right where her foot is, you can see an AC unit, which, if you remember the from the first half of Crystalized, one of the episodes revolved around, keeping Nia cool so that, they could get a sphere of staff so that a sphere can, pull the water power out of her. So it would just be a clever edit. But wouldn't that also qualify as, false advertising? Just saying. It could qualify because I understand why they did it, just to, keep that hype there. But at the same time, you want to be truthful, You can't just lie to your audience. So I'm kind of conflicted on this little edit. Part of me is like, yeah, this is really cool, but at the same time, it's like, no, it's deceiving us. It's against the truth. It should not be allowed, or something. It makes me very conflicted in me. And that's mostly everything, because there are some other stuff in here, but that's like the major stuff that I really wanted to cover in this video, because most of it revolved around the Overlord and, his coming back and whatnot. And I will do a Ninjago trailer reaction and analysis video towards the end of the week, so you can get my full thoughts on that. But anyways, what are you guys' thoughts on the trailer, and do you have any concerns about what might happen in here? Oh, one final note. I just reminded myself. It was actually recently announced that this season, Crystalized, would be the end of the current storyline and not the end of Ninjago as a whole, which I figured that would happen because Ninjago, as Aiden / Ninja Whip says, it's evergreen, which means it's pretty much gonna last forever. And that wasn't the part that threw me off. The one part that threw me off was saying the end of the current storyline, which reminded me of what Tommy said in that tweet, comparing it to Avengers Endgame, which obviously inspired by the poster, obviously. But if this is truly the end of the current storyline, then what else could there be? What could they do after this? Because obviously they can make a new show, also being animated by Wildbrain, like I mentioned in a few videos previously, or they could just continue on with it, but in a completely brand new way, which would be kind of awkward if I'm being honest. So honestly, I think this will be the end of this current incarnation of of Ninjago, and that it'll basically be another incarnation, which will be the third one, because the first one was Masters of Spinjitzu. I don't count Rebooted as a second incarnation because it still followed the same storyline. And that lasted from 2011 to 2019. Ninjago, just with no subtitles, is 2019 to 2022, and then whatever. So, anyways, I just wanted to give my overall thoughts. Again, Sorry for bringing that up. I just remembered it. But anyways, I hope you guys, like this video and whatnot. Blah 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 blah. Um, Share your thoughts and concerns about this trailer in the comments below, and also about the Ninjago possibly ending, quote unquote. Share your thoughts about that. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and click on the notification bell to see every video that I will upload. And I'll see you folks in the next video. Bye bye.